All right. Could everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. All right. So we're going to jump in. Welcome to our our inaugural Global Hearts and Good Spirits event. Um, we've got a great hour lined up for you, and we're excited that you're here with us. I'm going to jump in right with our Zoom nuts and bolts, which makes our viewing and participation a lot easier. Um, For those of you who have been on Zoom, you can jump between speaker view and gallery shows you all the different people, and speaker puts the person speaking right in front of you. You can toggle between the two. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a view button, but I encourage you maybe to do speaker view. That way the people who are talking, you can see them more clearly. Also, as I mentioned, you were muted when you came on, and we're encouraging you to stay muted. With this many people, we could have over 60 different households here with us. Some background noise can get in there, or our lovely dogs could bark or something like that. So keep it on mute. And also, what we did, if those of you were at our auction, at the bottom is a little button icon that says chat. We're going to use that at a couple of different times during this event, but we'll tell you then. And all you have to do is click on that chat button, and it pulls up a screen on the side, or if it's on your phone, it might be in the middle. And that way you can type things in there. We'll give more instructions at that point. We're excited. We're going to do our first polling. There's an ability to do some polls as part of our event. And so we've created a few that go along with the wine tasting. So as you're tasting wine and trying to guess which one you're drinking, a poll will pop up, and all you have to do is make your choice and click submit. And then we'll gather everybody's thoughts of what they were drinking and see if we got it right before the winemaker tells us what we actually drank. I think that is most of the nuts and bolts. So let's talk about Concern American Wine. Welcome, everyone. Throughout this event, we're going to talk about this wonderful organization, Concern America, that and I haven't even introduced myself. My name is John Straw. I'm lucky to be the executive director of this wonderful organization. We're going to hear a bit more about Concern interspersed throughout the event, and we're going to drink some wonderful wine while we do that. What a year 2020 was. What a year already 2021 has been. Wow, with COVID as it is right now in Southern California and across this country, with the political situation, I think a lot of us are feeling uncertain, unstable. It's a difficult time. But throughout this entire last 9-10 months, we've learned a few things. A few things have been we've been reminded of the importance of things. In our work, we have learned that training community members to be their own healthcare providers, to build their own water systems, to be their own teachers, to create their own income generating weaving cooperatives, is so important. But it's even more important at times when there's a pandemic and roads are closed and communities are closed and hospitals aren't allowing people to come in. To build local capacity to provide their own services builds a resilience in these communities that when things like this happen, they're prepared and ready for them. And the public health system that have been created in places in Guatemala where we work is probably stronger than what we found here in the US, which is just incredible to see. We have learned to be distant from loved ones and friends and family. I see some couples and some small groups gathered here, and obviously you're in your own merged bubbles. You know how to be safe. Boy, we wish we could do this together, but we know we can't. But even at times like this, we know we need to be connected. We know we need to reach out to each other. And we have found these Zoom events that we've had a few times with Concern do that for many of us. And we're just really, really excited to be connected with you across the country. And so just know how much your presence is important in our lives. We've also learned, haven't we, to be flexible. A small group of us was supposed to be at the winery right now, doing the tasting, being together, sharing with you across the country. I am now in my home, as many of you are. So thanks for your flexibility, but we know this is going to be just as lovely here this evening, and we're excited to launch this together. Let's see. Like all Concern America events, this didn't happen without many hands, and some of those folks will be here today. I'm going to be here. I'll come back later on in the event. Terry Sadak, our development coordinator at Concern America, will be on helping us with the polling in the middle of the tasting. And we've got a former board member and supporter, Winford Van Wingerden, is going to be here to do a little auction near the end, an exciting little auction. And we have current board member Beth McPherson, who was the spark for this idea and has done a lot of work and is good friends with the Dark Star folks. So what I would like to do now is turn it over to Beth. She's here on our screen, but she recorded a little introductory video to get us kicked off. So here you go, Beth.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Dark Star Winery. We're here. I'm Beth McPherson, and I'm here to get you started tonight with our wine tasting. Thank you all for being here, first of all. When you go to the Dark Star landing page, it says, "We're glad you're here." So on behalf of Concern America, I'd like to say we're glad you're here. We're glad this event is taking place. Unfortunately, we're still in the middle of the pandemic, so we don't have a bunch of people here live. Everybody is virtual. So let us take just a moment and be mindful of all the first responders, all the people, the truckers, the grocery store people the nurses, clinicians, respiratory therapists, everybody who's helped keep us healthy and well-fed. And let's remember all those who've lost a loved one during this pandemic. It's a terrible time for so many. And yet, here we are. Here we are as a community that supports Concern America and an event that will bring a few dollars to help those in Colombia, Mexico, and Guatemala, bringing healthcare and fresh water to those local communities. I've been associated with Concern America for about 15 years and on the board for 7 years. I'd like to tell you one quick story about transforming lives into self-sufficiency, the mission of Concern. If you want to build a water tank in a local community in Guatemala, the community puts in whatever dollars, whatever funds they can. But they also have a group of people, 5 people each day, who learn how to build the water tank and support it. So when we leave that local community, they've contributed to a water tank, and they have 25 people who have new skills, and they're able to maintain that water tank. That's what Concern America is about, building the competency of people and communities. And we stand with them tonight. So before I go on and on, which I could do, let me say a few things about Dark Star. Mike Emling has graciously brought us to his winery, and he has many, many award-winning wines. Just take a look at these. Over the past 4 years, Mike has had more than 20 awards, including 10 gold medals that are 90 plus points. So you know the wine is really, really good. And I'm looking forward to tasting it with you. And so now I turn it over to Mike.
Welcome to Dark Start Cellars. We had this great idea about doing a virtual barrel tasting, which was going to be partially live, but now we can't be even partially live, so we're going to be all virtual. Before we actually start the barrel tasting, we're going to have a little look around the property, just so you can get an idea about what goes on at a winery. Okay, welcome back from the tour. We're about ready to start our barrel tasting. And so the concept here is that we're going to taste two things side by side. And the reason for that is that you taste one thing, it doesn't tell you very much. You taste another thing, that doesn't tell you very much. But if you compare the two of them, you might learn something. So there's going to be three sets. The first set is going to be two varietals. One of them's Zinfandel, one of them's Petite Sirah, and your job will be able to figure out which one is which. And then I'll introduce the next thing as we get to it. And we're going to cut now to the first pair of samples. So you should have 2 glasses at least, or 2 glasses per person, and get out your little test tubes, which is going to be the blue test tube and the red test tube. So I'm going to start with the blue thing. We're not saying what it is right now because you're supposed to figure that out. So here's a barrel sample of the blue thing. And let's sit this right here for a minute. And now I need a barrel sample of the red thing, which is probably over here somewhere. Yep, there it is. Red thing. So what do we think about this? Okay, I've drawn my 2 samples. This one is the red sample. This one is the blue sample. And right away you can see that there's a substantial color difference between those 2 things, which ought to give you a clue about which one's which. And then next you can give them a smell. So both of these just came out of a barrel that's sitting outside, and it's probably 52 degrees or something, so they're not giving off much of a smell yet. Your samples out of the test tubes will probably have some significant odors that you can pick up. All right, so now we've seen it, we've smelled it, so we'll give it a sip. Swirl it around your mouth a little bit, get the experience. So you'll still be able to taste this for some period of time after you've done the tasting part of it. And one of the features of a high quality wine is that the flavors tend to persist. So take a minute, just see how long it lasts in your mouth. I can still taste it, but I'm going to go on to the next one because we don't have all day here, right? So this is a bigger flavor. It's got more of a tannic feel on the sides of your cheeks. So we're going to give you a few minutes to process all that, and then come back in a minute and tell you which one's which.
All right, as we finish up savoring those last 2 samples, we are going to take a poll and see what you all think about which one is which. So the 2 that we tried are blue and red, and one of them is a Zinfandel, and then one is a Petite Sirah. So do you think the blue is the Zinfandel, the first one, or that the red one is? And you could just choose your answer and then click submit. And we'll wait another 5 or so seconds, letting people share their ideas. Couple more seconds. Okay, let's see what you all thought. Okay, we had 65% say that the blue is Zinfandel and the red is Petit Syrah, and the other 35% thinking otherwise. All right, let's see what Mike says.
Okay, so red sample was Zinfandel, blue sample was Petit Syrah with its darker color. That one should have been pretty easy, and now we'll go on to our next one, which is going to be a little bit more difficult. Okay.
Awesome. How'd we do? You feel like you got it? Excellent. Those were outstanding wines. It was incredible just to feel it in my mouth for such a long time. Thank you, Mike. We've got 2 more sets to go, but as you're savoring those, maybe you didn't finish your sips. We're gonna share a video about Concern America, which is an organization that it's just incredible. I've been part of Concern America since 1997 when my wife Kat and I were field volunteers in Guatemala. I've been a staff member since 1999. Most staff members have been at the organization many, many years. Board members hang around for a long time, which is wonderful because they're awesome. We couldn't do our work without staff and board. And we're going to show a little video that we put together recently. We actually previewed it at our auction in the fall. Gives an overview of our work, and it also, you can see the faces, and it shares the voices of 3 of the health promoter practitioners that we train and work with in our 3 countries, as Beth mentioned. So I will have that video go now. For communities in vulnerable regions, healthcare, clean water, education, and economic opportunities are transformational. And at Concern America, we believe that true transformation happens only when that change is rooted in the community. We have walked alongside communities since 1972, together sowing seeds of hope and change and empowering community members to become leaders, to build their own water systems, to be their own health promoter practitioners, to be the change they want to make for their communities. From refugee camps in Thailand, Honduras, and Mexico, to isolated communities in Mozambique, Bangladesh, Guatemala, and Colombia. Since our beginning, Concern America has worked in 15 countries on 4 continents, impacting the lives of more than 2 million people. Together, we are seeing the fruits of our collective work: healthcare, clean water, education, and economic opportunity, all run by the people themselves. Even during the urgency of COVID-19, because our roots and base are strong, our work continues to grow for a more resilient and sustainable future. We recently asked some of the health promoter practitioners we have trained to share the significance of their work in the regions of Guatemala, Mexico, and Colombia where they live. Here are a few of their responses.
CONCER se ha preocupado por el seguimiento de los pacientes crónicos, que todos estamos expuestos ante esta pandemia, pero ellos son mucho más expuestos, corren más riesgo. Entonces, CONCER siempre se ha preocupado porque ellos estén abastecidos de sus medicamentos, aunque en algún momento el paciente no tenga recurso económico, no tenga dinero para pagar sus medicinas. Entonces no es tan fácil encontrar una institución que nos dé esas facilidades.
La importancia que veo el trabajo del CONCER en las comunidades, nosotros como indígenas estamos viviendo más la discriminación en los hospitales. A veces nosotros no nos toman en cuenta los médicos cuando llegamos a pedir consultas. por solamente hablar una lengua indígena como tzotzil, celtal o otras que hablamos aquí en los Altos de Chiapas. La importancia es que nosotros formamos más promotores de salud para que tengamos en nuestras manos nosotros los promotores de salud y atender allí nomás en la comunidad los pacientes.
Bueno, el trabajo en las comunidades es un trabajo muy exitoso para mí, porque la verdad es que cuando uno entra a sus comunidades y uno ve la necesidad que tienen las comunidades en salud, uno le causa un dolor tan impresionante cuando uno, niños, adultos, ancianos, sufriendo por algo que uno puede darle la mano y uno sabiendo qué poderle hacer y uno brindarle el servicio, uno se siente muy tranquilo. Y eso he mirado yo y he visto. Y por eso cuando uno tiene sentido de pertenencia por su comunidad, por su gente, uno lo da todo. Uno no le importa que no tenga nada en las manos, pero desde que uno le presta atención a una persona y que uno, la persona, uno lo vea que estaba en una crisis de enfermedad y uno lo vea alentado nuevamente y que esa persona le dé gracias a Dios y le dé gracias a uno se siente feliz. Eso me hace trabajar por la comunidad.
The work of Judith, Nacho, and Rosa, and their local teams of dedicated health promoter practitioners, midwives, environmental health promoters, teachers, and artisan cooperative leaders is possible because of the generosity of the concerned community. Our global hearts can transform this world for all of us.
Okay, our next pair are the green and the orange. And in this case, both of these are 2017 Merlot. It's identical wine from the same vineyard and fermented in the same tank. And what is different about it is that one of these has been treated with oak cubes at the level of what I would estimate to be about 20% oak, and the other one has twice that much. So this experiment is about how much oak is there. Okay. So you've got a barrel. It's made out of oak. And the first time you use that barrel, it would be considered to be a 100% oak barrel. So if I add, or you go to the second time you use it, it'd be a 50% oak. And third time you use it, it'd be 25% oak. Next time you use it, it's going to be neutral. So if I had 4 neutral barrels and one brand new 100% barrel and blended them, then you get 20% oak. Well, you can also use oak cubes, which are regular oak that's taken from the forest and seasoned and toasted, and you can introduce them to these neutral barrels to get an oak effect. And by way of experience, we use about 70 grams of it in one of these barrels normally, and that's around about the same thing as a 20% oak effect. So one of these is treated with cubes, 70 grams. The other one, and I don't even know which one's which offhand, has 140. So that's your experiment. So let's draw our sample and see what we find out. So this, I think, is the orange one. And this, I think, is the green one. It's identical wine, so they should look pretty much the same. Okay, we've got our 2 samples. As I said, this is identical wine, so they should look more or less the same, and they do. And you can give them a smell and see if there's any difference. It's hard for me to say anything about that because, again, these samples are really cold. They smell the same to me right now, but it might be different in your living room with the raw form samples. So now we're going to test, let's grab the orange sample first. So one thing I noticed about this is kind of tangy, which means it's got a little bit more acidity than the first two that we did. But what we're really looking for is the feel of tannins, which is what you feel is a drying sensation on the sides of your cheeks. Let's go on to green sample. Make sure you swish it around and get it into your cheeks so you can detect what's going on here. Okay, I know which one's which, even though I don't remember. So we'll come back in just a minute and you guys can see what you think about it, and then I'll tell you what it really is.
Okay, what do you all think? We have the two options, yellow and green. So which one was the 20% or regular oak, and which one was the double, about 40% oak? So you guys have a couple seconds to, about 20 seconds to decide. Both very interesting and full flavors.
Terry, the paper says orange, not yellow. Which is it?
Oh, sorry, substitute the orange for yellow. So orange,
good.
the first one, orange, regular oak, or green.
Okay.
Sorry,
Okay. Thanks.
yellow's coming in the last round. Okay, let's see what you all thought. A couple more seconds, maybe. Somebody spilled a bit of caraway on the first one. So many complex flavors. Ooh, this one was very close. So orange, 52% thought that the orange one was the regular oak, the 20%, and that the green was the double amount. And then 48%, that's very close margins. Okay, let's hear what Mike has to say.
Okay, you should have noticed that the green sample, the second one, was setting off a lot more sensations in the sides of your mouth. That's the double oak sample, which is probably on the order of 40-ish% oak effect. All right, now we'll move on.
Okay, well, we did pretty well, 52%, slightly got the answers right. So with us today, as John mentioned, we have several very special people, and one of them is joining us from Carpinteria, Winfred Van Wingerden, who has many hats with the organization. He's our favorite auctioneer, he's a former fair volunteer, and he's been a board member. So he's going to share a little bit more about himself. Winfred.
Here we go. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yes.
Yes. Hello there. Well, thank you, Terry, and thank you to all of you for being here and supporting Concern America. There's a great number of local causes that we can support, but when your global heart can reach out and support those that will most likely never meet, it truly shows a global heart, and I want to thank you for that. My connection with Concern began in 1981, a mere 40 years ago, fresh out of college with a degree in international ag development. And Marianne Lowe, the then director of Concern America, hired me from Mexico, and I spent a little bit over a year in Tijuana. That program has since shut down, but in the meantime, I've been visiting some of the different programs and projects in Guatemala and Mexico. And I've been just incredibly impressed with the level of care that has been given to the people of these communities. and the incredible heart that the health practitioners show and what they're able to do, the kind of work they're able to perform. And so that has been just a real eye-opener for me, and the reason why I support Concern America. You know, we're a very small organization, and but the work that we do and the little money that we spend goes such a long way in the work that is being accomplished there. And so I really encourage you to continue or to start supporting Concern America. It really is going to be one of your favorite organizations, as it is mine and Sheila's. And it's really just so wonderful to see the incredible commitment that the volunteers have shown, the many years that they've put in. And so I'm just very, very impressed. And so what I'd like to do is, I think we're going to go to an auction. And are we going to do that right now?
A little bit
Okay.
later.
Okay, we're going to wait. Okay.
We're going to do our last testing
I'm
first.
going to turn it back to Terry then.
Okay. We have one.
Stay alert, everyone, because you're going to have a chance to contribute more money, and I want you to be real alert.
That is coming up very soon. We have one more testing to do. We have two more wines. You can start getting them ready, yellow and pink. And so we're going to watch the video right now with Mike.
Okay, we're ready to draw our final tasting pair. So you should have yellow. And you should have pink. So let's get these ready. And then we're going to go back out to the vineyard to taste them. Okay, we have yellow sample and pink sample. So here's what's going on. Both of these are Cabernet Sauvignon 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And again, it's identical wine from the identical vineyard and fermented in the same tank at the same time. In this case, what's different about it is one of these is treated with French oak, which is very commonly an oak you hear about, and the other one is with Hungarian oak, which is a little bit different. So this is a harder test. This is a more subtle difference for you to try to pick up. So let's go with sample yellow. Get the hair out of my mouth. Now that I own a winery, I can't afford a haircut anymore. Here we go. Again, you want to get that squished around in the side of your mouth a little bit, because part of this is going to be the effect of the tannins. To the pink sample. You swirl this around for a few minutes and then take a little break, and then I'm going to comment on the sensations that I'm getting out of it after you've had a chance to think about it. I'll be right back.
Okay, we'll give you a little bit to savor those two different flavors. He said this one was a lot more difficult. So we have the yellow one. The options are the yellow one could be the French oak and the pink Hungarian, or the pink is the French oak and the yellow's Hungarian. But they are both 2018 Cabernet Sauvignon. So they're very similar, but slightly different. Okay. Has everybody shared their answers? Let's see what you all think. This one is most difficult, he said. Okay, also a very close one that does not add up to 100. We have the yellow being the French oak and pink Hungarian oak at 48%. It must have been so close and rounded up. The pink is French oak and the yellow is Hungarian oak. So let's see what Mike says about that.
Okay. So, yellow sample. You can feel very smooth tannins in the side of your mouth. It's got a very typical Cabernet flavor. Going on to pink sample. Kind of almost the first thing I notice a few seconds into the taste, it's almost a little bit of a sour bite to it that I didn't get out of the first one. And that persisted over some time. And also, to me, the tannins felt rougher in texture. So the answer to the question is that probably the first one felt more familiar to you because that's the French oak sample, and the second one is Hungarian. And I like Hungarian oak. In reality, what happens is that we're going to have something like 3 barrels of French oak and 1 barrel of Hungarian oak, and then it's going to get blended back together. That's the way we do all of our Frenchy wines around here. Some of the other wines we make, like Montepulciano, doesn't get any oak. Things like Zinfandel, Tempranillo, are on American oak, but everything else is pretty much on this blend of French and Hungarian. Okay, so that's your taste. You got that done, and you've got a whole other bottle of wine to drink in your box. So have fun with that. Bye-bye.
Okay, those were some delicious wines that we had, and we did decently on the quizzes. I know that was pretty hard. So, but before we move on to the auction piece, the short auction piece, we do want to find out which one was your favorite. So we have one more poll that we are going to share, and you can choose which one. Just pick one. That's your favorite. We didn't write because we didn't know the answers before. We have the red, the Zinfandel. The blue was the Petite Syrah. The orange was the 20% oak 2017 Merlot. The green 40% oak 2017 Merlot. The yellow was the French Hungarian Cabernet Sauvignon 2018. And the pink was the Hungarian oak. So which one was your favorite? I know it's a tough decision here. Answers are slowly coming in. I think people are having a hard time deciding, picking their top one. I guess we should have done ranking for next time. Now we know. Okay, the yellow is the winner. 31% liked the French oak Cabernet. Second was the blue one, which was the Petite Syrah. So those are the top two, but it looks like it was spread pretty, not exactly evenly, but it was spread across the board. So everybody has their unique favorites, which is good. Okay, now we are going to invite Winfred back And he's going to tell us about a special auction that we have for a Magnum wine.
Well, hello again, and I'm hoping that everyone has not had quite enough to drink because we've got some beautiful Magnums here. This is a variety named after a town in Italy. Now, it's the pronunciation, you got to speak a little Italian here, but it's Pulciano. And so there is a beautiful Magnum that we're going to auction off. And so if you have liked and enjoyed these wines, then we'd love to see if you guys could go into your chat, and we could start let's start at $50 for a bottle, a Magnum of this beautiful Pulciano wine. And is it a Monte? Excuse me. Yeah, that's right. It's Monte Pulciano. And so we're going to start with $50. Who would like to put in $50? We got $100 from Beth. And let's see. Now, Scott, let's see. We got to go 125. Who's going 150? We got 150, 175. Who's going to do 175? 200. We have 200. 200 going for two. Let's go 250. We're trying to raise some real good, serious money here. $250. Who'll give $250 for this beautiful Magnum? $250. You're going to give $250.
$250.
Excellent. All right, we got 250. Who's going to? Oh, Laura, you're going to have to do 300. Who's going to do 300? 300 from Beth. Excellent. 350. Who's going to do 350? 350. Excellent. Richard, thank you. 350. 400. We're looking for 400. Guys, this thing is worth 1,000, so we're still a ways off. 450. We're looking for 450.
Yeah, from Beth.
450 from Beth?
No.
Not yet. Oh, from you. Ah, we got 450 from Sheila. Thank you. We are looking for 500. 500. Who's going to do 500? Oh, go Beth. Beth, are you on? 500 is what we're looking for. We got 450. What is Koila? 500. We're looking for 500. We got 450. 500. Beth, excellent. 500. We're looking for 550.
Koila is bidding.
Koila is bidding, right.
Koila's
We're looking for 550. 550. Sheila just offered 550. Thank you. 550. 600. 600. 600. Come on, let's go to 600.
We're not at 50 yet.
We're at 550. You're at 550. We're going for 600.
Sorry.
600.
I've been drinking wine.
600. Can we get 600? Going once. We got 550 from Sheila. 550. Actually, you know, I just heard from John that we have 2 of these bottles. 2 of these bottles. Who's willing to give 550? And we're going to do 2 bottles. 2 bottles. Excellent. And then 550 from Delphina. If there's somebody else out there, then I'm going to purchase another one.
It does look like actually Richard Payne said 550 also.
550 also. So how many do we have now? We have Sheila, we have Richard. Is Beth still in the run?
Delphina actually went to 600.
600. Oh my God, we're gonna have to bid it up.
Great
Excellent.
start.
We're at 600 right now. 600. Sheila, where are you going with this?
I think I'm going to 600.
600 also. We
Yeah.
got 2 at 600. Do we have a third at 600? Because I'm going to donate another bottle. So we're going to go 3 bottles, 600 each. Beth, are you in the running?
Or Koila?
Koila? Beth?
Koila Anderson has been.
Oh,
Excellent. Richard?
Richard.
Excellent. So we have 3 bottles?
4.
4. Excellent. I'll take care of both of those. Excellent. So we got 4 at 600. All right, folks. Now, for those of you that weren't able to get a Magnum, what we would love to see, because we know that COVID has kept us all inside. We haven't been able to go out. We haven't been able to see any shows or go out for dinner. What an opportunity to say, instead of going out for dinner, we're going to be donating that $300-400 dinner to Concern America. I know we all have some of these special evenings out that we can do right now. And what a great opportunity to provide this funding for Concern and show your global hearts. So if any of you would like to do a contribution right now in the chat room, we would love to see those numbers. If you could do that, we so appreciate it. Let's see. No, we've already done the second bottle. 500, 100, 250, 250, 150, 250. Excellent. Thank you so much. 500 from Kathy and West. Thank you. Cheers to you. 200, Rhonda. Thank you. 250 from Laura. 100 from Il Zambrano. That's a beautiful name. 250 from Elizabeth. Thank you. Terry, are you keeping track? One. I just saw 1,000.
Yeah, I saw 1,000.
Yes, I am.
250.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what? We're also going to do 1,000. We're not putting it in the chat room, but Terry, you put it in there.
300 from Debbie.
Okay. 300 from Debbie. Excellent. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 550 from Sally and Alan. 100 from Edwin. Thank you. Wow. Awesome. Awesome job. Thank you. 50 from Lauren.
250 from
250
yeah.
and 100 from Patty and Richard.
Yeah.
What an incredibly generous crowd. That is beautiful. Wow.
Oh, wow. Right. Well, right now, just in donations, the total is 6,950, and that is not including the wine auction.
Wow.
Excellent. Just from that. Excellent.
Fantastic. Great job.
Fantastic, everybody.
Beautiful.
We so appreciate it.
Thank you
for your big global hearts.
You have that magic, Winfred, and I think having Sheila next to you really put it over the edge.
Oh, it definitely did.
She
goes, I'm coming with you here. We're gonna do this together.
We entered this event already because your wine, what you paid in your ticket was the wine and the shipping to cover Dark Star's costs, and then about an $80 donation. So we already had over $4,000 when we started this event. So with that, we are well over 10,000, and I think with the wine, 4 magnums, that puts us at about 1,200, which is more than double what we had hoped. So thank you, everyone. You can, of course, go to concernamerica.org to the donate now and do your donation there. You can send a check to Concern America. Our address is on our website. So I don't need to take more time with that, but thank you. This is absolutely amazing. And people keep posting, so I know that number's going up. What I would love to do now is I would love to turn it back to Beth for a moment. She's at the winery right now, and I know that group is there being super safe and wearing their mask, and it's open.
Hold on. Hi, everybody. This is so exciting. It's far exceeding my expectations. Okay, see right there? See right there? Wave your hand, Mike. That's Mike. And let me tell you, yes, put your hands together for Mike. This guy is so awesome. Yay! Not only have I been drinking his great wine for decades, we made great money for Concern America. And I see so many of my best friends on there and so many Concern America supporters that I've seen. I can't call you all out. You know that I love so many of you, Chris and Mead in the the Houston crowd. And Penny, oh my God, and okay, see, this is a problem. Sandra's there, Judith and Mary Ellen are there. Oh my golly, there's so many wonderful people and I can only see one screen. Wynn, you're just always awesome, and Sheila as well. And somehow my little group here of 4 with the winemaker has totally lost track of everything. So I hope we will figure out who bought wine. I have people here who think they won. They won because they gave the most money. They won. So yes, Richard. Hey, Richard, you're awesome. Yeah, let's go, buddy. So somebody, Terry, could you put in the chat who won the wine? And I guess we're up to 4 bottles. So I'll make sure I get 4 and get them somewhere to the people, to the winners. So thank you all for thank you so much for being on the phone. The old and new friends of Concern America. As you can see, this is the greatest organization. And as Wynn said, so worthy of your investment because they do amazing things. And I'm going to stop because I could go on. And I've had a little wine. So
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you.
And thank you to the whole staff of Concern America. There are only 6 people that are staff to this, and they made all this happen. They do these Zoom things better than many organizations who have so many more resources, and they're awesome. So thanks.
Thank you so much, Beth. And yeah, thanks for the initial seed and making contact with Dark Star. A couple people have said, how do we get more of their wine? If you go to Dark Star's website, you can order wine. And really, as Beth mentioned in the initial part, she's been a member for years of their wine club. And they didn't make any money off this event. They really took their time and supported us with this. So if you liked what they were doing, we really encourage you to even become a wine member. I think I heard before the event started, someone already became a new wine member for Dark Star. So thank you, Mike. Thank you for your entire staff. Thank you, Beth, for a shout out to the Concern staff. And there are a number of Concern board members here too. If someone, please wave if you're a board member. You do a lot of work for this organization without any remuneration. It's out of the goodness of your heart, and our board is incredible. So go to concernamerica.org, learn more about us if you don't know us much. Support Dark Star, and also know this isn't the first. This is our first, but it's not the last. So we'll have other events coming up later in the year. We'll have more opportunities to gather like this, more wineries, maybe a brewery, maybe a distillery. We've got one in Santa Ana. So there are going to be lots of opportunities for us to learn more about wine and beer and distilled spirits, gather together and support the incredible work of Concern America. Thank you so much, everyone. We're going to throw up a slide now, I think, with our upcoming events. Make note in your calendars because we're going to have a lot of time together virtually and hopefully as the year goes on in person. Thanks, everyone, and thanks for a wonderful event.